So, Buddhism is a religion popular in East Asia and Southeast Asia in particular. It was created by the Buddha in about the 5th or 6th century BCE. The exact date of his life is currently unknown. But there are a lot of misconceptions surrounding Buddhism as to what it is and its place in society and in religious theology. So I'll start by talking about what exactly Buddhism is. So Buddhism is a collection of the teachings of the Buddha. The Buddha was raised Hindu, but he rejected Hindu ideals when he reached enlightenment and in his creation of the Buddhist practice. So Buddhism teaches the Four Noble Truths and the Eightfold Path, and these two combined make up the basics of Buddhist thought. Um, the Eightfold Path is just a collection of 8 ideas on how a person should live their life in a way that is healthy, in a way that is helpful both for themselves and for humanity as a whole. The Buddha taught in the Eightfold Path ideas like right livelihood and right mindfulness, and right meditation and right dedication to both yourself and to your religious practice. Another idea common in Buddhism is the idea of reincarnation. You have samsara, which is this cyclic existence. You go through birth and death until you reach enlightenment, which is just the realization of the true nature of your existence and of humanity. So there are a lot of misconceptions surrounding Buddhism. Chief among them is the role of God in Buddhism. So Buddhism is a non-theistic tradition. It says the idea of God is essentially irrelevant in your life. It says that what is important is to live your life in a way that is good, in a way that is healthy, and that whether you believe in a God or not is neither here nor there. And so the idea of theism has become very entrenched in Western theology in particular. You have Christianity and you have Judaism and Islam. In all of these practices, the belief in a monotheistic God and one God is very central to those religious practices. So a lot of people don't think that Buddhism can be a religion in its own right because it doesn't believe in a God. So Buddhism spread through it. There were two main paths that the spread of Buddhism took. You have Mahayana Buddhism, which spread north out of India, and you have Theravada Buddhism, which spread south of India. So Mahayana and Theravada Buddhism are the two main Buddhist practices. Theravada Buddhism teaches a more personal practice that you reach enlightenment for yourself, and you focus on your own enlightenment, and that it's not your job to be evangelical or to preach Buddhism to other people. Mahayana Buddhism says that it's your own duty as a Buddhist to not necessarily convert other people, but to help them in their own path to enlightenment. So people will, in Mahayana Buddhism, reject enlightenment and continue on in reincarnation and samsara so as to help other people reach enlightenment. And so Mahayana Buddhism spread through China and Japan, and Theravada Buddhism spread south. And so there are regional tensions within Buddhism and sectional tensions, and they're different traditions, in much the same way that Christianity divided within the Enlightenment and the Great Awakening. And there was Christian sectionalism, much the same way that there is Buddhist sectionalism, and they are different practices in their own right. They both have different ideas, and different ideas about the practice itself. And so it's really important to understand these misconceptions in Buddhism and to understand exactly what Buddhism is, simply because it is a very common religious practice. It's one of the most common religions in the world today, and just because it isn't practiced as widely in the United States and Western culture, it's still central to world religion and to understanding culture itself.